Hello and welcome to the MIDA Multi-Tool review. It's the only exotic scout rifle in Destiny until House of Wolves drop, and this week Xur is selling this weapon. So in this review I am going to convince you to buy it, upgrade it, and use it as your main weapon. First, let's go over the stats and perks and see what makes this an exotic. If you look at the stats, it's mostly well-rounded and pretty good except for the range. Range is a bit low for a scout rifle, but it still feels very accurate due to its high aim assist and recoil direction. For perks, you have Third Eye and MIDA Multi-Tool. The exotic perk gives you a hair trigger and faster movement speed. The hair trigger does not increase fire rate in any way, but it's still marginally helpful in firing faster, and you can't quantify this, but it definitely feels nicer and puts less strain on your trigger finger. Also, the exotic perk increases your base movement speed by around 10%, which is significant considering that this is the only way to increase your sprint speed. The closest comparison I have is the speed bonus when you pick up a sword. It really makes you move fast and makes hunters fly, and it makes warlocks and titans less clumsy, which is really nice for those of us who play hunter main. And for comparison, lightweight perk in Call of Duty series only give you 7% speed increase. And please note that the agility perk does not increase movement speed at all. Agility affects your first jump and your walk speed. The 10% movement speed bonus works on top of the agility bonuses. In the first trio of perks, I recommend going with Smart Drift Control for maximum stability, and for the second trio of perks, go with Lightweight and PvP for slightly faster walking speed and strafing speed, and go with Field Scout and PvE for 27 magazine size and a lot of reserve ammo. Also, there's a hidden stat in this gun, and that is the very high flinch damage modifier, which means your enemies will flinch like crazy. In PvE, whatever you're shooting at won't shoot you back unless it's a boss, and in PvP, it really throws off people's aim. I know this because I got shot by a crap ton in the previous week's Xur sold this thing. So why is this an exotic? Well, it's the blend of well-rounded stats, high flinch modifier, great perk selection, and faster movement speed that makes this gun good for all sorts of encounters. Now let's go over why this gun is so good in PvP and PvE. In PvP, the high aim assist allows you to have an easier time headshotting, and the max reload is very helpful for those of us who instantly reload after every kill. Third Eye is very helpful for keeping track of shotgunners coming away, and you can flank while ADS without having to worry about your back. Combine this with the movement speed increase, and you have a gun that can surprise and flank people like there's no tomorrow. If you're a hunter, if you bind this with regular dance machines, you will literally fly while ADS, and your enemies will not be able to hit you. I've had so many 1v1 encounters where I outgunned Vex Mythoclast and even Thorn, just because I was strafing left and right at really high speed. It really is great. Also, the awesome range and stability means you can reliably kill people fast from long distances. It can kill people in just 4 headshots and 6 body shots, and the time to kill is solid at 0.9 seconds. In addition, the fast fire rate means you are better at close range encounters and you have short follow-ups, so you aren't penalized as much for missing your shots. It's like Xur's regime but better in every way. And if you're wondering whether you should use the exotic slot for MIDA Multi-Tool, I would definitely say do, because since patch 1.1.2, primary is more important than ever, and you'll have an easier time justifying your use of MIDA, especially since there are so many good secondaries and heavies. Some tips for using this gun in PvP: try to keep your encounters at mid-range and rush the hell out of your enemies to catch them by surprise and to flank them. If you're facing many dudes, take out one at a time and keep strafing left and right randomly so they can't hit you and they can't predict your movement. That was a really long PvP section. In PvE, this gun is also pretty good, and here are a couple reasons. First, the enemies stagger like crazy, so you can keep shooting without them shooting back. Also, the movement speed increase is situational, but it's very helpful where it's needed. For example, you walk and run past all the enemies in the abyss. You can get to and grab shit faster in patrol. You can sprint Shrieker Blast before they can get you, and if you're a sword bearer in Crota, it allows you to have a little bit more leeway in terms of timing. And not to mention, you can strafe better with the faster movement speed. Third Eye is very helpful on a primer like this. In PvE, it allows you to bring MIDA to anything with light switch and allows you to ADS more. Also, the great max size, reload speed, and flinch modifier means you can have very high sustained DPS, especially with Field Scout. You can confidently take out tier 2 enemies and majors within 1 mag without ever getting shot at. And of course, the sight is very clear, and the handling, especially the high aim assist, is very nice. So where does this gun stand? It's basically jack of all trades but king of none. Each aspect of MIDA is very situational, but since there are a lot of various perks that come with MIDA, It means that the perks blend well to make this gun great all around. Also, MIDA is suited for most combats, and that means you will have this gun out 90% of the time unless you need really high DPS, in which case the exotic secondaries and heavies come in. It really does fit in well in most combat situations. From patrol, vanguard strikes, nightfalls, daily missions, skirmish control, clash to raids. That was a lot of good things I've said about MIDA, but is it worth buying it from Xur when House of Wolves launch is only a few weeks away? I would say yes, unless if you're extremely strapped for coins and don't have Thunderlord already. If you like scout rifles, this is your only exotic for now, and you're gonna definitely love this gun. If you like Source Regime, buy this gun. It's better than the Source Regime in almost every aspect. If you like sword bearing, or if you believe you can but fly, buy this gun. This will be your exotic primary of choice, and you will see much utility from this. It would be my exotic primary of choice if there weren't Hawkmoon, but that's besides the point. Like I said, unless you need to buy a hard-hitting exotic heavy, spend the coins on MIDA.